Alex Collier, and I am from the United States of America. And ever since I was 8 years old, I have been having contact with a group of human beings from the constellation of Andromeda, which is in our own galaxy. For 40 years, I have had a relationship with human beings from the constellation of Andromeda. I have, for 30 years, been visited and taken on board by beings who live in the constellation of Andromeda. They are light blue. They look like that color of that, but they have no hair. Okay, it's interesting. Given quite a few strands of hair away. Used to be a lot more hair here before the contacts, you see.
You're in contact with the Andromedans. Who exactly are the Andromedans?
They're a particular race that exists in the constellation of Andromeda. They're just one of thousands that exist out there. They are the particular races that I talk to and have had contact with and have given me and shared information with me are human. They're white-skinned to light blue-skinned, anywhere from 4 foot tall to 8 feet tall. And they are human in every way.
Now, where did they originate, Alex?
All human life originated in Lyra.
I am a contactee. I am not an abductee. I willingly go. I want to help. I find it fascinating, and I feel that it is important that other souls who are also having these experiences try to come forth with the information, because we are not being told the entire story by our governments. The crafts that I have been into, one of the motherships that I go to is called Atlantia. It is approximately 250 miles long. It has a population of it, from what I understand, of anywhere from 150 to 500,000 beings at one particular time. It is completely self-sufficient. It needs nothing. My last contact was 2.5 weeks ago in North County, San Diego. And ladies and gentlemen, I have had the opportunity to converse with the Andromedans regarding much UFO information that is circulating throughout the UFO community.
The Andromedans are light blue-skinned. They have 3 sexes, androgynous, male and female. They live in a spiritual community where their lifespan is anywhere from an average of 1,900, 1,800 years to 2,300 years. Some of their race actually live much longer, but that's the average. Their children go to school to what would be the equivalent of our years, 150 to 180 years, where they learn all the sciences, they get all the degrees, and everything that is available as far as knowledge at the moment is taught to them. So when these kids grow up, they are in fact smarter than their parents. And that's called the law of consistency, which is what they practice. All right? They would never, ever consider dumbing down their children so that they could be managed or controlled, because that's sabotaging the race. Okay? So they have all these sciences, they have all this technology. They travel in arcs, or motherships, we would call them. The one that I'm the most familiar with, that I spent 3 months on, is an 800 miles cylindrical sphere that has hundreds of floors. It is much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And I have no idea how they do that. I still don't know. But even their scout craft are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. They have these enormous parks on the inside where they grow all their food. They are fruitarians. Okay? They breathe oxygen like we do. They drink water like we do, but they live off of fruit. And they grow these type of fruits on their craft. They have 20, 30, 40-mile parks on virtually every floor, and along the sides, of the parks is where they habitate. There's like apartments all around the circles. And there's wildlife, there's animals, there's birds, things that look like squirrels. There's all these different life forms. They also have a lot of different colors. Because they're fifth density, their color spectrum is 221 colors, where our bandwidth is only 72 here. So it's impossible for me to share with you some of the colors that I've seen, because there's just no way, there's no point of reference for me to share that with you here. They have animals that, well, the closest thing they have is something that looks like a squirrel, but it isn't a squirrel. Okay, but it's very clever, and all the animal life is telepathic. It completely interacts with all of the people there. The children are all telepathic. They do not speak. Very few do.
Anyway, the first time I was brought on an Andromedan mothership, and they are 900 miles in diameter. Okay. They are completely self-contained worlds. Everything they need is there. I had to wear a belt so that it would keep my physicality together, so that I could spend this time with them. With the very first time I walked on, and in the middle of, they're made up of different levels. The craft I was on had 24 different levels. And in the middle of these craft, there is a 21-mile by 21-mile park with trees and everything. Okay? And they use extensive technology and holographs. And they can literally create their sunrise, their sunset. Okay? And the trees and plants grow because it is a holograph, but it is real, even though they're creating it with technology. The very first time I walked on, there were children. They teach their children in the middle of these parks. Everything's done in nature, very much like the Native Americans used to do, when the teepee got too small. And I walked on, and there were a bunch of children there, and as we walked out of a corridor, down a corridor, and out into this huge space of what looked like, could be anywhere, like Agora Hills or someplace out here, a park, the children moved away from me. And I was really hurt. I was like, oh man. And Moronae immediately picked up what I was feeling, and he said, "It isn't you. We have been teaching them about your race." It's really not all that funny. Okay? They were afraid of us. And these are children I have never seen before, but immediately felt our energy, my energy, because I represented all of us. And I do the best I can, sorry. But I got my own stuff to work out too. They treat their children like adults. I understand that they birth in water. The gestation period is 8 months. The children come out and they have full cognizant memory of who they were the life before. So there is a continuous evolution, life after life after life. Now, during the period between incarnations, and I don't know if this happens for all the beings on fifth density or not, the oldest and the wisest, who have the most experience, teach the youngest. So it's not where they withhold anything. In fact, the children, and this is the law of consistency, the children know everything their parents know and even more. And there's no attitude with the parents. This is something they want because their pride is in their race. And I wish we had the same philosophy. God, we dumb them down with cartoons and stuff like that. They sit in circles. Again, they're telepathic. So they would just be in circles, and you would see them nodding and smiling and laughing, but there's no sound. So I can't tell you what they were saying.
You know, it would be like if you went to a convention of deaf mutes, you know, and it's just sign language. You have no clue what's going on. You know, but they're talking about incredible things, I'm sure. Things that are probably way over my head. And most things are, actually. So, but they treat them like adults. And again, they teach them everything from a very young age. I mean, they go to school for 150 years. You know, God, you got to pick up some stuff after that.
They now travel in 800-mile motherships that are completely self-contained. They use free energy, as Dr. Sala has referred to. In fact, all of them do. Okay? Okay. And the motherships are like their home world. Many of the Andromedans that live on the ships both live, die, reincarnate into other lives on the same motherships. Many have never been to their home world. Their motherships are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They pull water from space because everywhere there's hydrogen. They use free energy. On the inside, there are hundreds and hundreds of miles of parks with lakes, forests, groves where they grow food. They are fruitarians. They eat fruit. When their scout teams or scientists go to other parts and they leave the mothership, they take small little green wafers with them. This is their food. That's very nutritious and makes them full, 1 tablet a day. The Andromedans live an average life of 2,007 years of our Earth years in one life. Some actually live twice that. Okay? So they see many things. They have tremendous wisdom. For some reason, when the ETs leave their physicality and incarnate back in, come back in through the birth process, they remember who they are. They don't have the spiritual blind that we on Earth have to deal with. Their DNA is 9-strand, not just 2. They are telepathic. If I could take all of you into their mothership and we were to walk into one of their park areas, you would see many people. But you wouldn't hear a sound except for the birds, the insects, and the animals. Okay, there'd be no sound because they all talk to each other by thought transference using telepathy. Telepathy is very interesting, and it is a phenomenal experience. And as Miss Angelica Wycliffe is going to share with you tomorrow in her talk about telepathy, is that you get entire concepts like this. For example, if we were to take our world and compile books on love, it would probably fill this room and then some. In the Andromedan world, where they come from, when they talk to each other and they talk about love, you get all of those books and more just like that. It's all in your head. It's right there.